Hey everyone, J-Rob Plays here, and finally going to bring you a new video going over Maru's role in this recent Calamity Ops. This Calamity Ops is a short one, and it's actually already been filled with a lot of controversy. There's already been out-of-bounds videos posted. There's also the videos with some of the unstucks that are being used to kind of sling people forward, kill yourself at the beginning. So I wanted to put together a video that we did earlier in the week before any of this was discovered. We did this with no unstucks, just straight speed with 2 Helhests and 1 Maru. And the reason I'm putting this out is because there's going to be a change coming up. If you check your notices, you'll actually have a recent update for the maintenance. And at the very bottom, if you go all the way down, they kind of snuck it in at the end, unstuck. The unstuck loading time has been changed to 20 seconds. And so that's not necessarily going to kill the unstuck altogether. It's going to just make it really hard to time the unstuck, because you're going to have to hit your unstuck knowing that the person is going to get to the action that's going to put you in that higher position to sling you forward. And that's just going to kill one of your runs if you do it wrong, if you're on the bleeding edge. So it's going to even the playing field a little bit. And also they may or may not have something in store for when you kill yourself and then you spawn and it puts you forward. If they change it to where if you kill yourself and spawn, it puts you backward, well, that'll kill the unstuck workaround, because that's the unstuck workaround, is to kill yourself at the beginning, spawn during the darkness zone, kill yourself in the middle of the run, spawn forward, kill yourself toward the middle of the hallway going to the boss elevator, spawn forward. So those are the unstucks that are being used right now. So again, my run is not going to have any of that. My run is just going to have us straight running through straight speed. I'm not going to have a build guide per se in this. That's going to be a separate video where I'll be going over Maru's build guide, both of the Calamity Ops last week and this week, and my experience with both of those kind of more in depth. And then I'll also have a little bit of information on, her in the legendary campaign and the rest of the game. But for the most part, most people are interested in the Calamity Ops because that's where the good rewards are, kind of the in-game, that and the expanse, of course. So I'll touch on that too. But let's get into the actual video this week. Now, just really quick before we get into the run, I just wanted to make sure to go over real fast what my build was. So my artifacts, I've got all the Blazers, the Undaunted Blazar, Siphoning Blazar, Safeguarding Blazar, and Bellicose Blazar. And as you can see, I've got Void Boost all the way up as high as I could get, Elemental Resistance, Ability Strength, Super Boost, Shield Boost, Recovery Boost. It'd be nice to have some additional Weapon Enhancement and Signature Boost as well. Those are some additional ones that you want to look at. But other than that, this is a decent build. It chews through stuff just fine, and my survivability is just fine for the most part. I don't die a lot on Maru compared to other characters where you get killed by some of the one-shot stuff that kind of takes you up out of nowhere, like a barrage will sneak up on you with an enemy as well, sniping you at the same time, stuff like that. Doesn't really happen on Maru as long as you're balancing your shield right and bringing the shield up as you're shooting. Kind of you learn that cadence of shoot, shield, and you'll end up getting to that point where you really don't die at all. So starting out, of course, you're going to get your whole team up and ready. Your Helhest can actually drop healing drones if they're using your conversion and get their armor up. So that way they have shields going in, over shields going in. As me on the Maru, I'm going to launch my heavy grenade launcher once, so that way I can get it to auto reload in the background. And I'm just going to boom, catch up, and slide from here once I kill that final enemy, and just try to catch up to my team, who is going to be zooming. They're going to be using their drones to speed forward since we don't have a Ning in this situation. And then now the next thing we're going to try to do is to make sure that we're popping the Shinkas that are coming down as they're coming down as soon as possible. That's going to give our team a chance to kill them right before they have a chance to do any damage to anybody, because the Shinka damage on top of the barrage can wipe somebody if they're kind of in the middle. I'm also clearing the mines, so that way Screwface, our runner, is actually going to be able to run straight through without having to stop. He doesn't have to worry about any of the enemies, because what I'm doing now is I'm killing enemies and catching up in the background. Now in the higher end, once we got used to it, you can stop right there at the door and wait for stuff to drop and then kill that. Also, when you're getting faster and faster, you can actually get in position to kill the little shanks coming down. So our run, once we get more opportunity and everything's been possibly reset, because they may be wiping the scores down to 400k like they did a few weeks ago with the out-of-bounds stuff, we'll be a better position to get a lot of these kills, ideally killing those marksmen that you just see here right at 5 as it's ticking forward. You'll be like at 156-ish instead of 153.8, so there'll be some additional score there to get. But what you'll see me doing, one of the big things that a lot of Marus don't know or haven't done that I see in some of the videos, is that skill of taking advantage of the barrages. Anytime you have a lot of outgoing damage, that's going to refill your barrage that you put out. So like the barrages coming in, if I catch them with my shield, you'll see it fills my shield all the way. Since I'm running the 4 Blazers, you'll be able to get that AoE damage pumped up and everything else pumped up. And I'll do that real quick at the end of the video. I'll run through my build and what I have set up to kind of get this going. But essentially, you want to try to master the art of eating a couple of the barrage hits to get your shield to maximum, but also it'll maximize your abilities as well. It's going to recharge your top ability, which is the one you see me launching here. to try and kill all the red bars right before it ticks over from 4 to 3, because that's a big difference in points. You want to try to get all the red bars in that zone, and theoretically, if you're fast enough, you want to try to get all of these enemies before it ticks over to 3 as well. Some of the faster teams will get to that. The top end guys, of course, a lot of those are using Nings and Unstucks, and with the changes tomorrow, there very likely won't be many crews running the Nings with the intention of using the Unstucks, because now you're going to have to worry about point totals instead. So once you're around the corner, you're going to pop this shank, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up and I'm going to absorb any damage that's coming out to me with my shield normally, and I can do that while activating the elevator. I got lucky here in this run that I didn't have to do that, but sometimes there's a lot of damage coming out, so just hold open your shield, and then from there you can activate safely even if the enemies are attacking you. It'll also do a little bit of AoE damage to the enemies that touch your shield, and so that's how you can get to the elevator motion part faster. We also found that if you move around a little bit or you jump up and down a little bit when you're in the elevator, as it's sitting there waiting to go, it'll register everybody sooner. So don't just run in there and sit still, run in there and kind of move side to side like you're in PvP a little bit, or jump up and down, and that'll start the boss fight. Also, you can hop up a little early, but it's not going to necessarily matter on the spawn time of the boss. The boss will spawn no matter what, as long as somebody's already up and out. You can just hop out from the very top and it'll still count. What I'm doing now is I'm waiting and I'm preparing for the boss to attack me, and also for the barrages to attack me. So I'm going to shoot both of my attacks. I'm going to get both of my attacks back from blocking the barrages, and I'm going to get another attack, and then I'm going to hit him with the drill, because the boss has this little moment of invulnerability, so you can't just push him into his second phase. So that's where the drill is going to come in. It's going to hit him and continually do damage. That's going to allow me to push up and start dealing with all the enemies that are hopping down. Now I'm going to take out the shank before it can hurt any of my teammates. And this is the point where you pop super, and you're going to try to take out any enemies that are in your path. You'll see I'm going to take out all of these 5 or 6 guys here. I'm going to turn around and grab all the shanks that I can, make sure everything is dead. I'm going to try to get as much as I can as we're attacking the boss. Now, another cool thing that happens here is we take advantage of the 1.8 kind of bug, not necessarily a bug, but more of like something that you know as you get used to running these Calamity Ops. You saw that we killed him at 1.8 technically, but it gave us the 2.0 points, because there's like a little bit of a lag time as I go back and kind of replay it, and you can see that we're killing him. It's still going to 1.8, but it hasn't fully registered and counted the 1.8. So if you kill him right at that 1.8 tick over, it's going to give you the 2, because it happened to like give you the kill right before it ticked over. And it's hard to do that every single time. You're not going to get that every single time right. A little bit risky, so it's always good to stay on the safe side. But when you do that, you get that additional time to get additional 2 or 3 or 4 adds. And in this strike, what you'll notice is that as I'm killing the ads and I'm backing up here, you'll see that I kill these wretches that put me at 300,100. Then I kill the heavy shank that puts me at 301,300. Then I pop my super and I get kills, and all of a sudden I'm going to be capped out here at 304.9. And I'm killing these shanks and I'm killing other enemies, and I even turn over here and I start killing these vandals. And these vandals are going to die with the AoE damage from the boss, and I'm not getting any score from those. So that's like another 6,000, 7,000 points. We could have been somewhere closer to 410 on this run. Especially because we got it right into the end. But that's okay. You know, you keep running the next day, you get 12 more after 2 days. That's usually what my team will do, is match up after 2 days and then get this taken care of. And that's what we're going to do next week, once we know for a fact that our scores are not going to be taken away from us. Like, we did play a little bit before the change, and we did kind of get some practice in on the Nings and trying to get kind of a high score there, but we weren't exactly like killing ourselves or too enthusiastic about getting that high score with the Ning and the bugs, because it's very likely, as this video is being recorded on the 26th, that come the 27th, scores in the high 430s, 440s, 450s, those scores may be rolled back, just like they did with the pit. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the pit, there was an out of bounds at the very beginning where you could jump over the wall and you could start the encounter way later after you've already gotten enemies primed. And that gives you such a huge advantage in time, where you can actually go and get everything good, get up on the enemies, kill them, and move right into the next zone with an unstuck. So that's obviously frowned upon by the devs now that we've seen that that's the case. And when you compare that to the Fulminator's out of bounds, where you can out of bounds and run across the whole map spawning everything, yeah, you still have to clear it with 2 people, which is not necessarily easy, but that still makes it easier for some teams that can't zoom on the same level as like Ace Torrent Neo Torrent's team do, for example. Not everybody's going to be able to push that hard, or have Helhest that maxed out where they just melt things as they're landing, or have a single Helhest that does the damage of 2 Helhests. You know what I mean? So when you're not in that situation and you're just kind of mere mortals on your team, what do you do in this scenario? And that's what this video is for. It's for everybody who is going to be running a regular Maru. I'm only tier 2. I stopped at tier 2 because that's a sweet spot. You're able to regenerate your shield from doing attacks with your grenade launchers, so that way you have your shield up, which is then going to feed more into your barrage ability. It's going to help you block while you're reloading. So that's another skill that Marus need to pick up, is that as you shoot your shots, you block, shoot your shot, block. That's going to allow you to reload, not interrupt your reload, get your shot off to cancel your shield, and you can do that all while the barrages are coming, and then you can kind of weave in your main attack, your own barrage attack out, and then that's going to allow you to constantly put out damage and control enemies, strip shields, and do so in relative safety while building up your overshield. Overall, it's not impossible to die with Maru, but as long as you're weaving your abilities in properly, you're pretty hard to kill. You're actually pretty good at keeping up and kind of getting yourself in the mix of things so that your teammates don't take that damage and they can worry about doing damage themselves. So if you have any questions on the run, go ahead and drop those down in the comments and I'll try to get to them as I can. I'm going to try to get this video posted on the 26th in the evening before the servers go down for the maintenance. That way it gives somebody some time to kind of run in there and get some practice in without the unstucks, if you want to practice without the unstucks, because again, tomorrow 20 seconds, it's not necessarily going to kill the unstuck, it's just going to make it a lot harder time, and a lot of people are not going to be using it now because of how long it takes and how much more ahead of time you have to kind of plan that out, and it's how risky it is to try to use that in your run now. And again, hopefully they fix the killing yourself and spawning forward as well at the same time, because then everybody's kind of on even ground. There's no more skips, there's no more out of boundses. Anybody that gets an out of bounds has their run removed. As long as that's kind of knowledge, people will still post the out of bound runs once or twice, but they're not going to keep that score, you know, and they know that, so they're going to wait until the reset and then get their actual score toward the end of the week. But other than that, thanks for watching to the end. I'll see you guys in the full guide video for Maru, going over both Calamity Ops last week and this week, going over all the other stuff that she has, and of course answering any questions you may have for that too.
Help them, guys.
Now, okay, I think we got it all.
Dude, I had to put my super away. I was like, oh shit, too much.
I think we got it all there, but it still wasn't good enough. Oh, it's a tie.
That's
really?
the best.